A completely empty room, save for the sourceless screaming and roaring emanating from the walls that bleeds into adjacent rooms. A vampire spawn falls from the ceiling to attack. A Nothic emerges from the burrow and attacks with its rotting gaze. Let's build a Megadungeon, one room at a time. I've been making a Megadungeon one room at a time, where each room is its own completely independent encounter. You can slot them in anywhere, and they include unique descriptions, encounters, obstacles, and loot. The best part? They're all free shorts uploaded to this channel, meaning all of them can be explained in under a minute. If that interests you, check out the playlist in the description. And if that confuses you, stay tuned. What exactly is a Megadungeon? Well, vibes-wise, it's just a really big dungeon. Like, so big it takes multiple levels of character progression to get through, and where an entire adventure can start and end in it without even completing it. In essence, it's just the setting of a dungeon crawl, which isn't for everyone. But even as a more narrative GM and a character-oriented player, I think there's a stigma against this style of play for really no reason. It doesn't have to be a meat grinder or a funhouse dungeon or arbitrary encounters strung together with no rhyme or reason. The goal of a Megadungeon is to facilitate a series of encounters in an enclosed area that force the party to adapt to the circumstances they find themselves in. That includes Munchkin-style fight monsters, get loot games, just as much as it includes character-oriented politicking with different factions. But come on, it's literally called Dungeons & Dragons. I think you're clever enough to make the game's namesake interesting for your group, and I want to show you that it's not as hard or scary to make a Megadungeon as most people might think it is. That being said, how do you actually use this stuff? The main thing to remember is that dungeons get more dangerous the deeper down you go. A combat on the first floor should be less difficult than a combat on the 5th floor. Proportionately, however, it should feel comparable because the party levels as they descend. So while the party might be 2nd or 3rd level as they go through floor 1, they'll be 7th or 8th level by the time they hit floor 5. To give an example, in the Nothic's Den, I mentioned a handful of violet fungus attack the party. If that's on floor 1, maybe that's only a single violet fungus. It makes 1d4 attacks on its turn, so adding too many fungi would overwhelm a low-level party. But if the Nothic's Den is on the 2nd or even 3rd floor, maybe there's as many violet fungus as there are characters, or more, because then the party has the hit points to withstand additional attacks while also being able to deal with the Nothic in the room. Conversely, in the overgrown foyer, I specifically called out there being 2 bandits, a spy and a berserker. This is intended to be the first or one of the first rooms in the dungeon. As a result, it's built around a party being 2nd or even 1st level, so you only have 2 enemies at CR1 and CR2 who even flee once brought down low enough. But if the party starts the dungeon at a higher level, or you use this as a secondary entrance the party discovers after already exploring the dungeon for a bit, maybe you add in some thugs or scouts, maybe even a veteran or gladiator if the party's high enough level. Adapt the specifics to your game. Play with what I give you and make something great out of it. If your players want more narrative aspects to the game, don't be afraid to insert external factors into the dungeon. Maybe your party's part of an adventuring guild. Have them run into a rival party from the same guild. Do they help each other out? Or is this the perfect time to take out the competition? You know what your players want more than I do. Remember, the Megadungeon will stay put while things happen outside. Allow the party to enter the dungeon, adventure for a few sessions, then leave. They can always come back when they're ready for more. I've yapped enough, so I'll let you go. But first, please let me know in the comments which rooms you want to see. I've got tons of ideas for rooms, and I'll be making an effort to draw from different creatures and encounters that I personally don't feel get enough love. For instance, you ever seen a Grimlock hunting ground? Stay tuned. I'd love to turn your ideas into part of the series, whether it's a general suggestion like wanting to see more puzzle rooms, or specific ideas like a Yuan-Ti's sacrificial chamber. I want to involve you in the creation of this Megadungeon, because then it goes from my Megadungeon to our Megadungeon, comrade! In the meantime, check out the playlist of the currently completed rooms down in the description. And if you want to support me so I can keep this stuff free, check out my partnered publisher, Homie and the Dude. Use promo code ARROWKISS for 20% off your order to get access to an awesome 5e supplement about swashbuckling and skyships I made a whole video about. It's totally unrelated to the Megadungeon, but wait, actually, what about a Megadungeon in a skyship? Have fun!